just the other day, I see this thing come across on my Facebook reel, or it might have been on Instagram. It was somewhere. A dude's got the gun on him, and he's out in front of his op's mother's house. He's like, yo, you know what it is. I'm about to hurt you where it really hurts. Then a couple days later, I end up seeing a separate incident where somebody allegedly pops, Syko Bob's mother, right? They end her life. And now you have to start thinking about the world that we live in, where nobody's off limits, right? People's mothers, people's kids. But the person that did this, you got to think too, like, Syko Bob is probably a psycho for real. When you look at everything that he's done in his life, just look at the tattoos on his face. But you got to know that this man's about to get out of prison. And you think he's not going to seek revenge? But let's get into that story and we'll talk about it at the end.
Your mama got put up there.
And now on to a deadly discovery after a woman was found dead inside a van in Fort Lauderdale. The back windows of the van appeared to be shot out. Local 10 News reporter Ian Margall is live with the latest on this investigation. Ian.
Things in this Fort Lauderdale neighborhood really quiet now, but last night this was a very busy scene, and I've spoken with family members of this victim. They tell me they are absolutely heartbroken today. Let's take you back to that scene last night, right around 6 p.m. Fort Lauderdale police say they responded to the home on Northwest 30th Way and 21st Street, where we're standing right now. They found a woman shot in the front seat of a van right in the driveway here. The woman was pronounced dead on the scene, and the detectives began their investigation, working the area for any evidence of what may have happened here or why this woman was targeted. Now, we have been able to confirm through family and neighbors, this woman was named Dorothy Smart. She went by Dee Dee. Neighbors say she was a lovely person, an absolutely great person to be around. We have also confirmed she is the mother.
The officer is yelling, "Where is Cambrell Smart?" Without being found in the housing unit, the federal prison intercom system would call out. Inmate 069775510. Cambrell Smart, report to the chaplain's office, would echo out of the federal prison intercom on the yard. Those that know him, and even those that don't, know this can't be good. Syko Bob would walk to the gate to report to the officer's station, where he would then take the longest walk of his life. Cambrell Smart, aka Syko Bob, one of Kodak Blacks' artists, would be pulled over on January 5th, 2022, by a Florida Highway Patrol trooper at around 3 o'clock a.m. after he was spotted driving at high speed on I-75 in Collier County, Florida. This would be the beginning of what would become a federal case. The rapper's vehicle was searched, and troopers found a plastic bag of marijuana in the center console, as well as a loaded gun between the front and back passenger side seats. The police report showed that the Sky the Sniper rapper was allegedly charged with a DUI, carrying a concealed firearm, possession of a weapon or ammo by a convicted felon, possession of more than 20 grams of marijuana, and possession of a controlled substance without a prescription. In the end, Syko Bob would plead guilty in federal court to possessing a firearm and ammunition as a convicted felon. U.S. District Judge Sherry Polster Chappell would sentence Syko Bob to 5 years in federal prison for possessing a firearm and ammunition as a convicted felon in violation of 18 U.S.C. 922G. While sitting in federal prison in Beckley, West Virginia, the 29-year-old Florida rapper would get called to the chaplain's office to learn that his mother had been killed, not by accident, but by ruthless violence. Syko Bob is no stranger to violence. In fact, it has always been a part of his life, whether he was on the receiving end or dishing it out. Like his mother, he had been shot previously, but did not die. On April 26, 2021, police said the rapper and 2 other men were driving in a tan car on the 1000 block of North State Road at around 3 p.m. when a black BMW pulled up and fired shots at them. The tan car attempted to speed off, but hit other vehicles in traffic and came to a standstill. With the BMW approaching again and firing more shots, it was then that someone in the tan car would fire back and the black car would drive off before hitting a van. By the time officers arrived, the 2 cars were empty and shell casings could be seen on the road. Those injured were driven to the hospital by bystanders and were all treated and released. On April 27th, according to Lieutenant Michael Santiago, he would add all 3 victims refused to cooperate with the investigation and provided no details on the events. Following the incident, Syko Bob took to Instagram Live to tell his 116,000 followers at the time that he was well and nothing had happened to him. "Please stop talking about get well when shit ain't wrong," he would say, Don't send me shit about no get well no more when shit ain't happened to me. The Broward County native is known for his affiliation with Kodak Black and his Sniper Gang label, and is regularly seen on his Instagram page. He released his single Everybody on April 21st, 2021, while his 8-track Monster mixtape would arrive on February 17th. In March, Bob appeared on Kodak's Righteous Reapers, which at the time had over 4.7 million views on YouTube. Sitting in prison and getting the news that his mother had been shot certainly sparked a whirlwind of emotions for the 29-year-old rapper. Dorothy Dee Smart was allegedly killed by gunshots on Wednesday, September 13th in Florida's Fort Lauderdale. She was found by the neighbors and family friends inside a van on a single-family home's driveway, who then identified her as the rapper's mother. A short video clip of cops investigating her car surfaced online, and speculations about the potential motives behind the lethal shooting and the assailants' identities also began as news about Syko's mother's death would spread. The horrifying discovery, in fact, was made in the evening around 6 p.m. when the Fort Lauderdale police would respond to that distress call at the intersection of Northwest 30th Way and 21st Street. The van was parked in the driveway, and the back windows had been shot out. Locals affectionately would call the rapper's mom Dee Dee. They would find her inside the vehicle, mortally wounded. Neighbors would tell WPLG Local 10 that Syko Bob's mother was quote-unquote a lovely person and an absolutely great person to be around. The investigation into the tragic incident is ongoing, with detectives fervently working the area for any evidence that might shed light on the circumstances surrounding her targeted killing. Many people shared their sympathy for the rapper as he is serving his sentence amidst this tragedy and hoped that he could get a prison leave to see his mother one last time, but the feds rarely allow that. Some people also noted how the streets these days were becoming more violent and how the gangs were not even sparing the lives of children and women. Chaos and conflict in the streets. But why would someone gun down the rapper's mother in cold blood? The police say it was a targeted hit. Some say it is in retaliation for Bob's disrespect and taunting of his op's mother, who was also shot and killed. HMT Trey's mother, a 39-year-old woman named Misty Hopkins, the owner of the waxing and laser hair removal business Hair Free, was shot and killed on March 19, 2021. On that afternoon, officers responded to the Clearview Business Center on Northwest 27th Avenue and would find Miss Hopkins lying in a pool of blood and suffering from multiple gunshot wounds in the hallways of the second floor, where her business was located. 27-year-old James Hardwick and others would be implicated in a conspiracy to commit murder. But Syko Bob, he was no stranger to violence, as we already said. He lived in the streets. He, along with two other men, Braxton Davis, 22, Tony Hall, 26, were arrested in connection with the shooting back in July 2017. Police reports said that Syko Bob let his gun go off at 2:55 a.m. in the area of Southwest 48th Avenue and 20th Street. According to a Broward Sheriff's Office police report, the three men parked a dark-colored vehicle at the intersection. Bob and Davis would get out of the car and immediately fire a shot in the air, and then he and Davis shot at people who were gathered at the outdoor party, according to police reports. One man was taken to a local hospital that night with life-threatening injuries, and Bob would face attempted murder charges and charges for violating probation as a felon in possession of a firearm. But it would not be long before he was back on the streets. 2 years later, Bob was back in Miami living the life he rapped about. But once again, that felon in possession of a firearm would get the best of him, sending him to FCI Beckley, where he is sitting in a cell, probably rubbing his head with the recent news of his mother being killed. But Bob is not there forever. He is scheduled to be released on September 22nd, 2026, and will likely be released to a federal halfway house in June 2026. What will he do? If anyone knows who would shoot his mother, it is Syko Bob, and it is clear that no stranger to violence or busting his gun, he will probably seek revenge. One man lost his mother, and another taunted her, as the old adage goes, karma is a motherfucker. The streets. The streets don't love you. They don't love your mama. They don't love your kids. They don't have no compassion for you. What do you think is going to happen? How many people are going to lose their lives over this situation? Think about that for a minute. You know, your boy's right now over in FCI Beckley rubbing his head, probably distraught, crying, upset, don't know what to think, lost his mother to violence. And if these people don't get arrested that, did this to his mom, I can guarantee this dude is going to get out of prison. He's going to come out looking for him. It's obvious that he don't have no problem busting that gun, right? It's obvious that he don't have no problem, man, living the shit that he was rapping about. I mean, he told his homeboy in one of them songs, yo, man, send that kite. Send that letter from jail. Let me know. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to blast this fool, right?
It's just crazy that, back in the day before I went to jail, there were some people that were off limits, man. Your parents, your kids, like, there was some, I guess you could say there was some respect, right, to a certain extent in most places. But now, man, dudes will pop you in the middle of the day. They'll shoot your mother at the stoplight in the middle of the day. But ask yourself, was it really that serious? The dudes that, obviously laid his mother down, like, was it serious enough where you had to go take his mom out? Yeah, I know. The streets say what? I'm going to hurt you wherever it hurts you most. I'm going to hit you where it hurts most. And that's what you did, man. You hit this kid where it hurts most. Whether it was a targeted attack or not, I mean, that's what the police reports are saying. People are saying, oh, man, it might have been for some shit he did in the street. So, man, you got to be mindful. You're out here in the street, you're getting money, you're doing what you're doing, you're robbing, you're shooting, you're talking shit on Instagram, you're videotaping this shit. Your ass is going to prison. For real. But, just think about, this is like the volcano, man. This shit is bubbling right now. Who could Syko Bob reach out to in the streets, right? You never know, man. You never know if he could touch you from prison. And you got to think, like, this kid ain't going to be in prison forever. I mean, this shit's right on. It's only a couple years. Dude's coming out with a vengeance. I can guarantee that. When you lose your mother, man, I can't even imagine what that's like. Especially when you lose your mother to violence. You think he don't know who probably got at his mom? You think the streets don't know? People are talking? I mean, he could lose his life. He could walk out looking for them, or they might be waiting on him. You never know what's going to happen. But the streets are that, just that, the streets. Dirty shit out there, man. The streets really don't have nothing for you. But we keep thinking that it does, right? It don't matter what color you are, what race you are, what nationality you are. Man, you're out here killing each other's mothers, man. Are you serious? Is the beef that real? Is it that serious? Man, this might have been the lady that lets you sleep at her house. Sometimes it's old friends that become enemies, right? You might have been sleeping at this lady's house when you was a kid, man. Eating over at the house. Damn, man. It's just a sad day for everybody, man. Blood on the Razor Wire TV, man. Think before you do things, man. Think about the big picture. Think about the consequences. Think about what can happen to your family. Blood on the Razor Wire TV with respect. Until tomorrow, we're out.